welcome to everyone that's here this morning, especially the extended family that's here to join us for our morning of learning. And as you well know, today is Son Gedalia when we commemorate in a sad way the passing, the murder of Gedalia. During the time of the Beis Hamikdash, when the Babylonians came in and destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, so they appointed a Jewish governor, Gedalia ben Achikam, to be in charge. And unfortunately, it was another Jew that decided, for whatever his reasons were, jealousy, political reasons, to kill Gedalia. And that really, the Rambam says, Nifbeis Gachelis Yisrael, the last remnant of Jewish control, of sovereignty, was extinguished. And that is really why we mourn, we fast. And by the way, I remember Rambam Mesivta spoke about this in even political terms, that there is a tremendous gain in having Jewish authority in Eretz Yisrael, even though we may not be, the ultimate bosses because we're under the Babylonians. So Kal v'chomer, when that happens, it's a tremendous loss, and the idea that Jews are in control of Eretz Yisrael is very, very important for us. So today, Baruch Hashem, we have a Jewish government. Even religious parties have say in it. We're not there completely yet, but we should certainly appreciate and thank the Kodesh Baruch Hu for the fact that we do have, control over Eretz Yisrael. Today, as you well know, is a day of fasting. As you paid attention to the Torah yesterday, the idea of tshuva is really part of fasting, and the ability we have to do tshuva and to bring ourselves closer to our Kodesh Baruch Hu is amazing. It doesn't cost us any money. You say tshuva, tzedakah, it's true. We should give tzedakah to wherever we give, but the Haftarah makes it very clear that Hashem doesn't ask us for money, doesn't ask us for kavanos. In fact, if a person doesn't do tshuva and brings kavanos, that's not acceptable. He just wants us to approach him with a broken heart, with a sense of remorse, and with a sense of reaching out to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. So that's our job. That's our job, all year round, but certainly during Aseret to make tshuva, and certainly on a fast day. The Mishnah Berurah says if a person is fasting and simply spends his time on the internet, shopping, doing other things, doesn't really focus on the fast and say, well, 7:29 I could start eating, whatever the time is, I think it's 7:29, and I fasted. You didn't really fulfill the key matinus. The key matinus is really realized and takes place not just through fasting, but recognizing that our focus is not on our physical well-being, but rather hopefully focusing internally in terms of becoming better Eved Hashem. And it's really with that in mind we asked, and we're privileged to have Rabbi Reichman, Shlita here. Rabbi Hershel is one of the rosh yeshiva REITS and is a well-known Marbit historian on the international scale. He's here every Friday. We have discussed to have him here every Friday, give a shiur to our guys, and he's noted as the Baal HaRishimos because he's really taken copious notes and distributed the Torah of Rav Soloveitchik Zatzal, and it's really, I think, for my mind, has done more than anyone, or certainly is out there in terms of preserving the legacy and transmitting the Messiah of the Rav, and is here to speak to us this morning to give us some practical tips for tshuva based, of course, on Rambam. So, Rabbi Reichman, welcome to Rambam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Friedman, and Shizot Rabbanim, and parents, Amidim, and we're dedicating this year to everybody, of course, into Am Yisrael should do tshuva, but Shmuel Bornstein, this is your site for one of the Rabbanim in yeshiva, so dedicated to his memory, and also my mother, Rabbi Hershel, who passed today, so Shloshim tonight, so we dedicated to her also. I want to take up really two questions. I know you people prepared, and I'm a little bit afraid that you prepared it so well that we probably could have my whole shiur, so we'll see. You looked at Hilchos Tshuva here, and I want to deal first of all with the question, is tshuva permanent or temporary? Okay, because what's the bar? Do we have to make a permanent change, or can it be a temporary change? Yes?
It has to be permanent.
Okay, good. How do you know it has to be permanent?
Because you can't do the Avera again.
Okay, good. Okay, let's look at the Rambam. And what's your name?
Avi.
Avi, you said well. If you look at the Rambam, very first Rambam, Perek Rishon Halacha Aleph, he says, "Komitzu shebetov ben asay v'los asay im over adam al achas man ben b'dodem ben b'shkodo k'shiyas v'tshuva v'yashiv m'chatov chayv l'tzvadov b'nei hakel baruch hu shneim yishu isha kiyasu v'yizvadu v'tzchatos v'mashasu z'evudu yikorim v'du yizeh mitzvahs asay ketzet misvadim." What is the confession? Omer, he says, "Ana Hashem chatos yavisi Poshati lefanecha v'asisi chach v'chach v'rei nichamti Voshti b'maasai u'la'olam eini chozer l'davar zeh." I will never do this again. Zeri kavashel vidu. That's vidu. So to make a statement in the video, according to the Rambam, he will never do it again. So that seems to be, like Avi says, the requirement. The problem with that is that very few of us achieve that. Okay, a lot of us make resolutions, of course, so-called New Year's resolutions, and for some time, especially during the 10 days, if you measure Shana Yom Kippur, I think most of us are able to keep what we would like to do, get better, and do better things, but turn the clock ahead, 9 months from now, 10 months from now, it's not the same level, unfortunately, for most of us, including myself. So, what happened to this statement in the vidu, "La'olam eini chozer l'davar zeh," I will never do it again. Let's look at Perek Sheni. Maybe we'll find some basis for temporary tshuva. Okay, look at Perek Sheni. Ezeh tshuva gemura. What's the complete tshuva? Zeh sheba liyada devar she'avavo, ve'ev shebiyada la'asoto, u'perish below asam ibnei tshuva. He has a temptation to do it again, and he doesn't do it because of tshuva. Lo miyir la'chishit. Halach case harei sheba alisha ba'aver la'achaz man nisyachid imav v'hu omed ba'avaso ba, u'b'cholach gufo u'medina she'ava ba, u'perish la'ova. Zeh ba'al tshuva gemura. If he has the temptation with the same woman and he doesn't do anything, that's a complete Baal Tshuva. Very funny thing. I thought that was what Tshuva is. What does he mean it's a complete Tshuva? Is it something which is not a complete Tshuva? Seems so. And he says, V'im lo shav ela b'mezik naso, let's say he does Tshuva when he's old, but H.E.E. Avshalo lasses mashahaya oseh. He couldn't possibly do it again. He's lying in a bed, he's sick. Even though it's not complete tshuva, it helps. It's about tshuva. On his deathbed, he does tshuva. All the sins are forgiven. Now, if a guy's on his deathbed, so it's irrelevant to say, I'm not going to do this again. It's irrelevant. We don't know. We don't know we're going to do it again. He's going to die in a few minutes. So what is his tshuva? His tshuva is chavata l'sha'ava. The first part of the tshuva is that he regrets what he did. The commitment to the future is irrelevant to this person. So we see from the Rambam a big chiddush. The best tshuva gemura, is regret on the past, commitment for the future, and sticking to that commitment. That's the best. But there is a lower level tshuva where it's simply regret on the past. In the most extreme cases, where there's no attempt, no ability, no possibility of ever getting into the situation again. So it's purely regretting the past. And that, the Rambam says, is a tshuva, which works. It forgives the sins for this person on the deathbed. So now, the question is, someone is not on his deathbed. He's well, and he regrets the past. And he even keeps a few days or a week in the future. And then he sins. So is he worse than the person on the deathbed? But it was a special halacha for someone on his deathbed that the Torah created a new kind of tshuva for someone who's dying to have regret on the past without anything about the future. But everybody else has to stick it out 100% every day the rest of his life. It doesn't really, it's not so appealing to come up with such a duality that if a person's dying and he can't do something in the future, so then tshuva switches to just being something about the past. But someone who is alive and well and can go into the future, he has to do tshuva with a higher bar, not just regret the past, but he must keep a commitment to the future forever. It's a little strange. Why should someone who's sick and old get a special type of tshuva? And regular people, like all of us, Baruch Hashem, we have to do tshuva gemura, we have to do the top tshuva, and we don't have a lower level tshuva, so it's not a very appealing position. It makes more sense to say that, of course, there is tshuva gemura, there's complete tshuva, where a person is committed forever. Any time can never fall. But there's a tshuva she'ein ma'ula, a tshuva which is not the best, but it is a tshuva which works in terms of what we want. We want to get forgiven for our sins and be able to start fresh. So regretting the past and trying, it seems to be that there is such a level tshuva called a tshuva which is not the best, but it is a tshuva. So that's very, very, says, it's good for us. It makes us feel supported to try, even if we don't succeed forever, but we're trying. So, and if we try for a while, so that means our regret is sincere. So the main thing is to be sincere about the regret and show it by beginning to change in the future. How long that lasts, we hope it lasts forever. If it lasts forever, then it's the finest possible tshuva gemura, complete. If it lasts for a short time, it's also tshuva. It's also tshuva. God accepts it because we have good wishes. We want to change. And we regret the past. But we're human and it's very hard to change some deep things in our character, so we can begin to change and try to change. But we can't achieve the full change in one attempt. Now, is there a proof that tshuva is not just a one-time thing, but it's a process? I have another proof for this, that there's, besides this pretty black and white statement in the Rambam about someone on his deathbed, but there's another very important proof, and that's Yom Kippur itself. Because yes, what do you want to say?
Yom Kippur, it says in Shemona Esrei that you have to slice your heart.
Okay, good. Yom Kippur is a very good day. What's your name, by the way?
Morty Shmurman.
Morty, very good. Yom Kippur is a good day to show that tshuva is not all or nothing. I make a change now, it's it forever. It's a process because of small steps which add up to maybe a big step if we put it all together. Because on Yom Kippur, we say the vidui, we confess to the sins 5 times on Yom Kippur. Ma'ariv, Shachris, Musaf, Mincha, Ne'ilah. So we're confessing again and again and again. Why are we confessing again and again? I thought, according to the first statement in the Rambam, which Avi quoted, Perek Aleph, Halacha Aleph, once I say it, I'm never going to do it again. So what's the point of repeating it over and over every few hours, another time and another time? I already made the commitment forever. It's a waste of time, or just it's redundant. So, but if we say like the other part of the Rambam, in Perek Sheni, that there's a tshuva which is not gemura, not complete, but it's tshuva. It works on all the basic things that we really want. We want to get forgiven, we want to have a fresh start. So good. So we regret, and we're beginning to change, and we're trying to change. So that makes sense to say it again and again and again. Every time I say it, I can make my commitment for the future greater. I get stronger and stronger, and we know from experience that by the time all of us say it, the final thing at Ne'ilah, we really, really feel very strong about the future. Maybe the first time I say the video on Erev Yom Kippur and Mincha, I'm not so confident about the commitment to the future. But by the time we finish all the days saying it again and again, and finally get to Ne'ilah, we do have a very strong commitment to the future, and it lasts at least one night till the next morning, probably the next morning. Also, it lasts till after Shacharis. So we're getting a commitment going, and our Charata is complete, and this is why we do it so many times in Yom Kippur, because we know that the commitment is not forever, but we have to try our best. Now, really, the Rabbi Hershel Reichman, he was Medayik, something very interesting in the Rambam. I don't know if it's photostated or not. But the Rambam, it says Yom Kippur is, let's do, okay, we'll do Peres Halacha Vav. I think that's fine. Peres Halacha Vav and Zayin, okay, let's do that. I'll give you the Rambam, yeah. But before we read that, I want to read another Rambam. Yeah, I forgot to put it in the Rambam, Thomas. Rambam writes in Perek Aleph Halacha Gimel, maybe for that song. Perek Aleph Halacha Gimel, he writes like this. בזמן הזה שאין בית המקדש קיים, אין לנו מזבח כפרה, אין שם אלא התשובה. Nowadays we don't have a beit hamikdash, you can't bring the kapara, so you have tshuva to forgive the sins. It says that tshuva machaperet al kol aveirot. You can do tshuva for all the sins you ever did. Afilu rosh kol yomov, even who is wicked, but also tshuva b'achrona, he did tshuva at the very end of his life. Ein maskino shum davar merisho. All his wickedness gets wiped off. Good. Then he says, "V'atzmo shel Yom Kippurim, but the day of Yom Kippur, mechaper lashavim." It creates kapara for people who are repenting. Shnei kibiyom hazeh yechaper aleichem. So why does he just said that nowadays we use tshuva to get forgiveness for sins. And then he says, it is Yom Kippur, gives you the kapara, gives you the atonement, l'shavim. People are repenting. If you repent, then that's, he said just a few lines earlier, tshuva machaperet al kol aveirot. Tshuva forgives for all sins. And then 2 or 3 lines later he says, Atzmo shel Yom Kippurim, mechaper l'shavim. Yom Kippur is mechaper for people to tshuva. There is a man down in the Gemara, Rabbi, he said, Atzmo shel Yom Kippur mechaper b'li tshuva. He said, a very wonderful opinion, that Yom Kippur gets kapara without tshuva, but the Rambam doesn't paskin like him. The Rambam paskins like the Chachamim, that Yom Kippur needs tshuva. He says it black and white. Atzmo shel Yom Kippur mechaper l'shavim. The day of Yom Kippur gets kapara for people doing tshuva. So it doesn't make any sense. Tshuva does. He says tshuva machaperet al hakol. Tshuva is machaperet, and then he says Yom Kippur is mechaper l'shavim. You have the tshuva. Why do you need Yom Kippur with tshuva? So the Rav, he was medayik, a very interesting deal. That the Rambam, when he writes tshuva, he says tshuva. But then when he says Yom Kippur, he says Atzmo shel Yom Kippurim mechaper lashavim. People doing tshuva. So the Rav was medayik that it doesn't mean that he did the full tshuva. If he did the full tshuva, then he doesn't need Yom Kippur. The full tshuva gets you kapara. But if he didn't do the full tshuva, he's in the process of tshuva. He's sharp. He's trying to do tshuva. Maybe he didn't get there yet. But it's with Yom Kippur, and he's trying. Yom Kippur mechaper l'shavim. Yom Kippur combines with someone who's trying to do tshuva and feels bad about things, about certain things. And that creates kapara, even though it's not complete the tshuva. It's a weaker tshuva. It might even be weaker than the Rambam's tshuva shein and B'ula, which we spoke about before, about someone on his deathbed. There, he has very full regret, but the future is irrelevant. But here, maybe even the regret is sort of in the process. Maybe his regret is not 100%. There's a part of him which regrets. Maybe not everything. So he's a shav. He's in the process. So Yom Kippur gets him there. It's a very interesting idea for Rav. That Yom Kippur has that power to help a person get over the threshold with very weak tshuva. Then I'll go here and what we have in our Makomos. We can look at this also in Perek Beis. He says, "Abel Tisha Tshuva, Vatzot Yafala Olam Tshuvas, and davening is always beautiful. Vasara Yomim Shebein Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippurim, Hi Yafa B'Yotem Mikabelatim B'Yad." It's very nice, and it's accepted right away. Shneim Adish Hashem B'Himatzah. So what does it mean, Mikabelatim B'Yad? I thought tshuva, is a given. He said back in paragraph Alach, if you do tshuva, and you get forgiven, he said in Perek Beis. So again, it seems here that there's a lower level. He would like to do tshuva. He's asking Hashem to help him do tshuva, but he has conflicts. He has a lot of conflicts. He has habits which are hard to break. He has friends which are pulling him in the wrong direction, but he feels bad about it. And he asks Hashem, give me the power to break out of this. I myself don't think I could do it, but if you help me, I'll be able to do it. So, Dirshu Hashem, seek Hashem, Bihi Matzah. When he's there to give you the hand and help you make that break. By yourself, you're saying, I won't be able to do this break. My friends are too powerful. My little smart, stupid phone in my pocket is too powerful. So I can't. How am I going to shut it off? How am I going to get rid of it? I would love to, but I just can't. So, Yeshua Hashem B'Himot. So we ask Hashem to help me. And Hashem says, you want to do it? So it's as if you did it. It's a 10 days, I'm going to give you a grace, give you a pass. Now he says in Zion, says Halacha Zion, Yom Kippurim, Uzman Tshuva L'Kol Yochad V'Lerabim. It's the man of Tshuva for everybody, a private person or a group of people who hates the Chil L'Sichli Yisrael. It's a time of forgiveness for Jews. Makol Asas Tshuva L'Zvados Yom Kippurim. Therefore, you should do tshuva on Yom Kippur. So clearly, he's not talking necessarily only about a person who's going to make that full tshuva, B'ula, the Perek Aleph, Halacha Aleph, and Perek Beis, Halacha Aleph. He's talking about everybody. So what is everybody supposed to do? Can everybody make that commitment to be changed forever? But everybody wants to be better. So Yom Kippur says, Yom Kippur says, if you want to be better, and you ask Hashem, help me be better. And I would love to try to be better. But I know it's hard. So that Hashem says, fine, I'm accepting this as complete tshuva, and you are forgiven. So the bottom line is like this. Yes, there is a high bar of tshuva, which is permanent change. But there is also a much, much lower bar. Just regretting, really regretting, and doing a little bit of trying to change is a lower level tshuva which works the whole year. And Yom Kippur, the 10 days, is even lower than that. Just wanting to change, just wanting to be able to break out of it, even though I can't. I ask Hashem to help me. That Hashem says, okay. I accept it, you start fresh, just because you want to. This is the gift of the 10 days of tshuva, especially Yom Kippur. So that's why we keep on repeating it again and again and again, because we want to say we want to change. Can we change? We hope we can. We still need to change for a certain amount of time. So let's say it's the smartphone. I can put it away for one day after Yom Kippur. One day after Yom Kippur, no smartphone. Just an old-fashioned, stupid phone like I have. The smartphone I left home. I have my little old-fashioned, stupid phone. And that's for one day. Then we'll see the second day. We'll do one day at a time. And Hashem says, you made that chavata on Yom Kippur, and you have a commitment, so fine. So we accept it. Okay, so that's topic number one, which is very reassuring. Thank God that we have Yom Kippur. Now the second topic I wanted to talk about, someone asked me this in the yeshiva, one of the boys. One of the boys asked me, Rebbe, what's the most important thing to do tshuva about nowadays? There's 613 mitzvos, there's so many things. So tell me the one thing that he thought I think is the most important thing to do tshuva about. That's not such an easy question to answer. So I went with Rav Kook. Rav Kook says that the Gemara says that the reason the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed is because of sinas chinam, because Jews quarrel so much and hate one another. And it's not justified. And for that, the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Rav Kook said that in order to be misakim that, we should have avas chinam. We should love Jews without a reason, and that will fix the sin of sinas chinam. Okay. So let me talk about this this particular sin. Two people have a fight. Okay, Reuben and Shimon have a fight. Reuben hates Shimon and Shimon hates Reuben. They don't talk to one another. Many times it's in families because they were in business together, a brother and a brother-in-law. And they had some kind of quarrel in business, so they won't talk to one another. Meanwhile, the other people in the family are in the middle of this. It's a terrible thing. It happens so often. So what am I supposed to do if I want to do the tshuva for this sinas chinam, this exaggerated, way over the board fight? Because what happens is that when you get into a fight with somebody, the fight takes on a life of its own. Whereas the original issue is one thing, that's a certain level. Let's say it was money. Okay, so whatever the money is, $100,000, even $1 million, but it's some, you can work out money. But once it gets personal, that's it. It just takes on a life of its own. So how am I supposed to do tshuva on sinas chinam? How am I supposed to do tshuva on that? It's so widespread. So first of all, let's say two people are in this kind of a battle. Reuben and Shimon. Can Reuben change Shimon? No. Shimon is Shimon. Shimon is his own person. He decides what he wants to do. He hates Reuben. He hates me. I can't change him. One of the main things which makes the battle go on is because each side thinks I can change the other side. But really, it's not within my power to change the other person. I can't change him, really. Maybe, if he wants to, but at the end of the day, it's his decision whether he wants to change or not. So it's sort of very frustrating, and almost, I would almost claim, so most times it's futile to try to change the other person's attitude or opinions, whatever. The only thing I can really change is myself. I control myself. The basis of the whole Torah is v'chata b'chaim. We read it last week in the Sedra. Make v'chata, you individual, you make that choice. You choose to have chaim. Don't worry about the other guy. You can't change him. You can change yourself. Change yourself. Now, how are you supposed to change yourself when you're in a fight? So the Gemara says, Harvei min hane'alovim below min ha'ovim. Be the person who gets hurt and gets embarrassed rather than be the person who does hurt the other side and embarrasses the other side. In other words, I have the ability to accept that I will be hurt. I will be embarrassed. I will lose this fight. He will win. I will lose. Why? Because I'm stepping back. I have that ability to do that. I have the ability to lose. So if I choose that, to be a ne'alav, to be the victim, I can decide that I will be victimized. And maybe my opinion is, he's wrong, and I'm victimized, that I can accept that and not respond. That's the only thing I have in my power. So the Gemara says that's what I should choose. I should choose to be a ne'alav and not be an olev. And then it speaks very highly about such people. It says Hashem is they have so much light, like the sun, shining with heavenly light, because they decided to be from the ne'alavim and not from the ovim, to be from the ones who get embarrassed and get hurt rather than respond. That's what Rav Kook meant when he said, Avas Chinam. You love someone b'chinam, for no good reason. Not because he deserves it, but because that's what I want to do. I want to love Jews. So, that really is the mitzvah, I think, of the day. Now, if you think about it a little more, you realize that this is a very, very great mitzvah to let oneself be insulted and hurt and not respond and lose. It's a tremendous mitzvah. Not just because it's the key to human relationships. It's a thing which makes human relationships go smoothly. But besides that, it's at the core of emunah and bitachon in Hashem. What's the most important mitzvah in the Torah in general? To believe in Hashem. You say every day, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. What does it mean to believe in Hashem? Most of us, okay, it's an abstract idea. There's Hashem, there's God, He created the world, He's in charge of everything. So it's abstraction. But is it real? Is it real? When does it become real? When does it become real? It becomes real when I lose something and I say, Hashem wanted me to lose this. And you know what? Hashem was going to give me something else better than this down the road. I'll tell you a little story, which my wife told me the other day. It's a nice story. There was this rabbi in Israel, he did a kidney transplant. So he was waiting for a couple of years, and nothing came up because it's a small country and you can't get so easily kidneys. So he decided to go to New York. He's in New York, and he's in some hospital waiting for a donor, and he's waiting there for about 2 months, and nothing is showing up. And he hears that in San Francisco, for some reason, there are more donors for kidney transplants. He said, I'm sick and tired. I waited 2 years in Israel, and now 2 months here, I'm getting sicker and sicker, so let's go to San Francisco. Goes to San Francisco. The second day he's in San Francisco, gets a phone call. There's a donor with a kidney for you, and you have to show up in 2 hours. If you don't come in 2 hours, we're giving it to the next person who's waiting. 2 hours, I'm in San Francisco. It's going to take me 7 hours to get to New York. I can't get there in 2 hours. So the voice on it says, sorry, that's our policy. 2 hours. You're here in 2 hours, you get it. Nap? Nap. Comes up, and he's with his friend, and then he says to his friend, let's dance. Starts dancing. They die. What are you dancing? He just lost a kidney. Hashem didn't want me to get that kidney. It must be very good that I didn't get it. I'm happy Hashem didn't let me get the kidney. He makes the whole big dance. Then, a week later, he hears from New York that the person who donated the kidney was a sick person, and all the organs which were donated to the people who got them, the kidney, the heart, whatever they transplanted, every single person who got the transplant died. So he would have had that kidney, he would have died. And then a week later, he got a kidney in San Francisco, and he lived, and he's a healthy guy. So that's a story where when you lose something, it's Hashem's decision that you should lose this. And don't worry, you will have something better. Whatever it is, I'm dealing with boys in college, so they date. So they all get upset. There's this girl, they were dating her, and she was great, and then boom, she dropped him. I say, make a dance. She wasn't for you. You'll get someone better. You'll see. In other words, these disappointments in life are from Hashem. And it's the real test of our belief that Hashem is really taking care. Let's say it's money. Let's say it's $100,000. Hashem can't get me $100,000 some other way. I have to get only this $100,000 in this business, in this deal. So I won't get the deal. Someone else stole it from me. So I get the $100,000 another way. God has thousands, millions, billions, trillions of ways to get me money and a wife and happiness. So when we're in a fight with somebody, the fight is because people are entrenched in their position, that my position must be it. That's the only way this world will go on, if it's my position. Cool it. It could be the other guy's position. God's running the world. God will take care of you. Don't worry. It'll work out some other way. In other words, this approach of accepting defeat, by the way, by the Rav's philosophy, I'm not expert in this philosophy, I'm sort of an expert in this halacha. I write this for him on halacha, but one thing, he spoke about philosophy enough, so I picked up a drop. One thing he always said in his philosophy was, accept defeat. That was like his most important point in his philosophy. Accept defeat. Because if you accept defeat, it means you believe in God. God's running the world. So it's real emunah. Not abstract, I say, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Okay, it's very nice, I believe in God. But do you really believe in God? Are you ready to accept the defeat? Are you ready to let the other person win, even though he's not right? He's a scoundrel, but he's going to win, and you're going to lose, not to make the fight. Are you ready to do that? So it means that if a person has Avas Chinam, he is a tremendous Baal B'tachon and a tremendous Baal Emunah. He's really doing the biggest mitzvah in the Torah, which is Emunah B'tachon B'Hashem. So with that, I want to just finish off with the last thing in the Mount Commerce. We say this early on Kippur. I consider it so important. I think everybody should go to shul 15 minutes early before Kol Nidrei and say Tfilah Zakah. At the end of Tfilah Zakah, which is the first one printed in the Mount in Yom Kippur, we say the following. Uliyoshi Adati Shekamat Ein Sakah Ba'aretz Asher Lo Yachdav Ben Adam L'Chaveiro V'Mamen Lo B'Guf B'Mas Lo B'Dibur Peh. Every single person sins vis-a-vis other people, money, or with actions, or through words. I feel very upset. I can't be forgiven until I placate my friend. I can't get forgiven even with death unless I placate the friend. Meanwhile, he hates me. Meanwhile, we haven't talked. What are we supposed to do? That everybody, you and everybody should find favor. Let me find favor in everybody's eyes. I forgive. Anyone who did anything bad to me, I forgive. I forgive everybody. Okay? The next line, by the way, I skip because it says he doesn't forgive people who can go take to court. Now I say, I feel anashim, I instead of the chutz, you can cross out the chutz and put afilu. Afilu anashim, shani yochel hotzi momen mehem al pidin. Anybody, even someone who I could take the cord, and again, afilu, cut out the chutz. And even mi shachate kenegi vam echta lavo yimchu. Even someone who sins and says, oh, that guy is a pushover, he'll forgive me. I forgive him too. Kol eila. That cut out all the words chutz. Kol eila ani mochel b'mechila gemuva. I forgive every person in the world. Lo ya'ane shum adam b'sibasi. No one should ever get punished because of me. Ukeshem sheni mochel l'chol adam. And because I forgive everybody, kain titein et chini ve'ene kol adam shim chulit b'mechila gemuva. So that everybody forgive me. It's a very, very beautiful idea. I can only control myself. I cannot control anybody else in this planet. Really, no one. Not even children, not even a wife, no one. I control only myself. All I can do is forgive every single person in the world. I forgive every single person in the world for anything they've ever done to me or planned to do to me. And in that merit, Hashem should find favor, that I should find favor that every single person in the world who I ever did anything bad to should forgive me. There's so many people that we have hurt along the way, inadvertently. We don't remember how many people we hurt. It's amazing. As a Rebbe, it comes back to me every so often. Now, Rebbe, 30 years ago, you said something and it insulted me. I said, I never realized it. So, if I forgive everybody, everybody will forgive me. That's what he says. And that is the most beautiful, beautiful way to fix this sin of sinas chinam. We forgive everyone. And we let ourselves be defeated, like the Rav said. And in this way, we'll be zocheh for Gemat Simchat Tov, a wonderful year, a year of peace and shalom, peace between Jews, peace between Jews and non-Jews, peace among all the peoples in the world. We'll have Mashiach from here to Amen.
If there's anyone who has questions, Rabbi Reichman, have another minute? Okay, any quick questions? Practical questions, okay. I'll be shy, yeah. I'll be fun.
At the beginning of the halachas, the Rambam says, if you're going to do tshuva, you have a chiyuv l'svados. Then later on, in Perek Beis Halacha Zayin, he says, you have a chiyuv to do tshuva, and you have a chiyuv l'svados. So is that a little bit of a stira? How do we understand that?
Okay, the chiyuv in Perek Aleph Halacha Aleph is only, the Rav spoke about this, that when a person does a sin and he knows he did the sin, it's taken for granted that he will do tshuva. Because he's clear to avoid a sin, so that chiyuv is there. So it's automatic that he's going to do tshuva, so the mitzvah is vidui. The mitzvah, the Rambam says, is to say the confession. So it turns out that the tshuva is taken for granted, and the mitzvah is the confession. That's the Aleph Aleph. But on Yom Kippur, it's a special time to seek out things which I don't know about. So the whole year is what I know about, but Yom Kippur I try to find out things which I don't know about and do tshuva. Yes? Go back to that again.
We spoke about the various solution of tshuva and the different agreements of tshuva. If I came to bring right with moral clarification, I read the Kudeshes here, and then I shine inside the Gomar already something with Kudeshes. So Rashi says, Shem Hero B'tshuva. So you see that with Hero Tshuva alone, with no Karbanis, no Yom Kippur, just the regular.
Right, that's a good proof. That's a good proof. You can do tshuva b'lei. In other words, there's nothing that he hasn't done anything to prove it. He just has chavata l'sha'ava. Right? You're proving it very well from the Gemara. The Gemara says that if someone who kaddish an isha and he says I'm a tzaddik, even though a minute before he was eating chazir, so she's mukudeshes because we say he did tshuva and he did tshuva. So he's something mukudeshes. A hara b'tshuva, right? So the hira tshuva which the Gemara is talking about, it's hard to imagine Tshuva Gemura. It's not completely going to be changed forever.
It's not the Gemara that he wants, because it says.
He wants to, right.
There's something Shema here with Tshuva.
Right, exactly. So you
But
see,
not that the here with Tshuva.
I think, yeah, the rough part of that Gemara, like you see from that Gemara, that the lower levels of Tshuva, not just Tshuva Gemara, lower levels, right? Yes.
Two Talmidim asked this morning, Rambam states that the real tshuva is when somebody has that same cake, and the Rambam says that he has the same cake, Isa Isha, has the same age, and he's still he still holds up to the test. So two students asked that the Gemara tells us in Avodah about someone of Eliezer ben Zardai, that the last minute of his life he had an opportunity for a cake. And the Gemara called him Yesh Kaina Elama B'Sha'achas. He's someone who's achieved greatness and he achieved his portion of the world to come at his last moment of his life. So the Talmud asked that the Rambam writes that in order for one to achieve Tshuva Gemura, it must be that he's in the same position which he was originally. That Gemara states that the Elazar ben Dardai achieved the status of the Baal Tshuva, even though it's at the end of his, even though it was literally at the end of his life.
Yeah, but, you know, the Gemara, right, but apparently, the Gemara, whoever made the statement there, knew that this Rabbi Elazar ben Dardai, that his tshuva was Gemura, even though he had no chance to prove it, because he just died and a few minutes later, but they knew that tshuva was so strong that it was really a commitment forever. So whereas in the Rambam, he speaks about doing tshuva on the deathbed, it's without the commitment forever. It's a weaker tshuva. But there it was really complete. Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify what he's talking about, allowing ourselves to be defeated, and when things don't go the way that we were expecting them to go, that emunah that we're showing that, okay, so Hashem has something better down the line. Isn't it that this now is the best case scenario? The Kol Ma'avid Rahman L'Tava, not that I didn't get it now, but Hashem has something better for me later. Isn't it rather that, no, this is L'Chakila, this is what
I like
happened?
the question, it's a very good question. It's a machlokas here. In other words, there's a machlokas between, I would call the Hasidish Svarim and the Litvish Svarim. So the Chazon Ish writes about it in his Seifers, the Litvish and the Hasidish Sefer you open up will have the other position. Especially for the Leviism of the Ditcha, if you read his Sefer, Kedushas Levi. So there's a big machlokas in the Tocham when we say, I trust that what happened to me is Hashem's will, and therefore it's good. What does that mean? Does it mean I was defeated? Okay, I didn't get the deal. Someone else stole it, so it's good. So is it good per se? That's what the Chazon Ish and the Litvish say. Don't think about the future. It's good now. But the Chassidish Sfarim say there'll be something better down the line. We can think about the future and we'll get something better or as good. So that's a big machlokas in B'tochon. I myself am Chassidish upbringing, so I was always trained. You're going to get something better, or it'll be better. Don't. But the Rav, he was a Litvak, so I never really heard him speak about getting things better. He just said, get defeated, it's good. It's good to be defeated. So, it's a good feeling that you lost that. It makes you not know the way. Makes you learn more Torah. So it's a machlokas. It's a good question. So I don't know. I think Americans in general like to dream about getting better things. So for Americans, maybe the Hasidish idea to get defeated and get better is good. But if you're an Israeli in Bnei Brak, be defeated, it's good.